Welcome back to the Jarrett Bay Insider. Everybody knows you want to keep the water out of the boat, but what a lot of people do not realize is that we pump water into the boat in large quantities on purpose. Let's check that out. Before we get back to pumping water in our boat, let's take a quick look at hull 68. So you can see behind me, the framing is almost completed on this boat. Stay tuned, we're gonna have a lot more on this one coming soon. We have a viewer question on YouTube from Captain Lucky 23. Do you think it will get to a point where the hull will also be infused? That is a really good question. There are a number of manufacturers that are infusing entire hulls. For the most part, those are production boats being made in a mold. Because our boats are completely custom, every hull is different, that hasn't worked out for us so far, but who knows what the future holds? Technology keeps changing. Thanks for the question. If you have any questions, we'd love to hear them. Leave them on whatever platform you're watching. But now, let's go pump some water into that boat. We're at hull 65, and in a few short months, this boat is gonna be ready for the water. At that point, we're gonna do the whole walkthrough and we're gonna have a good time. But today, we're here to talk about sucking water into this boat, something most people don't think about. Now that may sound counterintuitive, but every system in this boat requires raw water to cool it. Some require lots of water, some require high pressure, some require a low pressure. We have to set that up individually for each system. On this particular boat, it has 8 raw water pickups. That's 8 holes through the boat. At its simplest form, the raw water, or seawater as it really is getting sucked into the boat, pulled through a series of pipes and strainers, goes to whatever system it's trying to cool, goes through a heat exchange unit, it's taking away the heat from the unit, and then it gets pumped back out the back of the boat, and the system continues to do that continuously while it's in use. Let's get up into the engine room and take a closer look at these systems. Boats this size require a lot of horsepower. A lot of horsepower generates a lot of heat, and they have a big appetite for cooling water. The valve for this engine is here, and then the water comes in through this blue hose, and it's all cool water. Seawater is the temperature of the ocean, whatever that would be, 70 odd degrees. So you can see the blue hose here is where our cooling water comes in. At this point, it gets into the heat exchanger, and it starts getting heated up. It runs through this system. There's hot on the one side, cool on the other side, and they're trading. And eventually, it goes out a hose and goes out into the exhaust. So this is the engine side view. Let's go take a look at the fisheye view. So under the boat with the fish's view, we can see the engine screen. That is a big scoop. It's angled a little bit, and the holes in it are all angled to force feed the water into the sea chest. All that is so that we can have lots of positive pressure so that those pumps never run out of water. The other systems have their own unique needs, so let's go check that out. Back in the generator room, and as you can see, we have a generator here, the other one's on the other side. So the seawater comes in to a strainer, and then it comes out a hose here, and it will come into the heat exchanger, takes the heat out of the cooling water that is made for the generator, and it pumps that right on out the exhaust. For the water maker system, the raw water comes through the same kind of strainer as the generator. It gets pumped into the system itself, and then the reverse osmosis membranes turn it into fresh water. That's water for drinking and making ice and so forth. The air conditioning and refrigeration systems have a unique need for their raw water, and that is that it needs to run continuously. That includes at the dock. At the dock, that's where barnacles are just the happiest to grow. We don't want them growing inside our raw water system, so this is a specialty system that makes that an unhappy environment for barnacles. Since each of these systems has their own unique needs, they have different kinds of pickups than the engines do. Let's go take a look. Back in the fisheye view, we can see that the through holes for the other systems do not have a screen. That's because they had the filtration system on the inside. Hope you enjoyed today's topic. If you have any questions, odds are someone else has the same question. Feel free to leave it on whatever platform you're watching. As always, thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.